You know what I believe? Sometimes three times is a charm. The third time is a charm. So thank you guys so much again for joining me on All Things Possible. Thank you for being patient. This is my third time trying. We are trying to bring Yola onto All Things Possible. And like I was saying earlier, she has an amazing story. And we started talking, and I found out she does teacup readings, which I've been so interested in lately. Um, and I asked her to come on and share a little bit more. Okay, there she goes. And so we're going to bring her on in a few moments. I just wanted to say thank you again for joining us. We were talking about the new moon. It is a new moon tonight. And I was asking, what are you guys doing for the new moon? And we have Yola going to come and share some of her story. And hopefully something clicks for you or inspires you in your own journey. When you hear someone else's journey, and usually you realize how much, even though the storyline may be different, how much you might connect with emotionally what someone is going through, and it can connect and click for you. All right, so I see the request came through. We're going to try this again. You guys send us good energy through the systems, through the lines, through all the networks, the spirit guides, and it flows through. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Okay. Oh my goodness. So when you're not on, I'm fine. But then when we come on together,
Oh,
I know that's so funny.
it is funny. I don't understand.
This happened with me and Brian for like 3 times. We tried to go on the live, and every time, but then he found out, is your phone connected to your Wi-Fi?
Yes.
That was one of his issues. So, but if that's there, I
So
don't know what else.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah, Alejandro said it's some powerful energy.
Okay.
Seriously. Wait, let's
I'm
see.
on the Wi-Fi. Is it better?
Do, 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 do. So Mindy said maybe try. What, Alejandro, do you hear me when I speak? Do you still hear the echo? I hear it.
Bluetooth? I'm not on the Bluetooth. I took it off. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, my Bluetooth. I'm making sure everything is off.
Oh,
Vivian said we're too far.
that just right,
Yes.
Vivian.
She says she can hear a little echo. I think the thing is, one time I pushed through an interview like this because we were able to understand each other. But when I listened to it, it was so horrible. I don't want that to happen again.
No. Let me
Can I?
get off totally and come back on again. Stay where you are. Let me get off, okay?
Okay.
Let me get off.
Okay, you go ahead and get off. And then she'll jump back on. Don't know what's happening, but it happens, especially during the lives. There can be all kinds of stuff. I know somebody told me go on Yardstream or Zoom because it doesn't happen that much, using those platforms. So I'm gonna try that. I actually set it up already. So my next interview, which is tomorrow, I will use that with Ella. Oh my goodness, you guys! I feel now that I feel this like rush of energy. Seriously, you might see me start sweating a little bit. Thank you guys for coming on. Okay, Yola is back again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Vivian. I see Yola. I see Vivian. I see Mindy, Alejandra, and I'm sure we're all interested in hearing more from Yola. I am. I want to know more. I want to know how you do coffee cup readings or teacup readings. I want to know how you escaped to America. I want to know how that led you into doing Lulu. I haven't seen you in so long either, Lulu. Thank you guys for joining me. We're having a little bit of technical issues. All right, I'm gonna try again. You guys send me good juju, energy, blessings. Let's see. Testing.
Deborah, make it good.
Make it good. You sound fine.
I sound good?
Yeah, but you wasn't sounding bad before. It was me who was not sent. Lulu. All right, let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. If anybody is listening and can hear me, if you can let me know if there's an echo when I speak. Hello, my friend. Are you hearing an echo when I speak to Yola? Do you hear an echo from me when I speak to you? Yola, you. I'm speaking. No? Okay.
No,
Yeah.
I hear you. Do you hear any echo?
Well, only when I speak, and Alejandra says she still hears it too. That's so funny. A little echo, but if you talk, it's not
That's before.
Okay. Well, they said it's not too bad. Do you want to continue? I want to. I want to know more about your story.
You want to, we want to, everybody could hear us good?
Well, Vivian and Alejandra said that they can hear me. There's a slight echo when I speak, but not too bad. Yeah, Vivian said, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, okay, we've had all this time and you already know this is Yola, but I want you to still go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, Yola, and tell us who you
are. Well, my name is Yola. I grew up in Lebanon and until age 14. And then the journey started then. And we all have a rough time in our life, but sometimes listening to somebody else's journey, it's like a wake-up call for us because we are so victims that we hear somebody else's story, you know?
Yeah.
I was 14 years old when they went to school. I'm gonna dive straight. I'm gonna give you a little bit of my, I don't wanna go too much deep into things, but just the beginning. I was taken from school with machine guns. They told school that my mom is sick and I need to go home. And by the time I got to the car, you have all these men and machine guns. And I'm like, I don't even know anybody. And anyway, the woman who went in, she was our neighbor and she was pregnant. And she said, if you don't go with us, they'll put me in jail and my husband will kill your dad and your brother. So I was scared, you know. But I'll tell you, our power got taken away when we are young because when I was little, all what I heard is my mother saying, this girl is so ugly, no man will ever marry her. And that took my self-esteem away, thinking I'm really so ugly, you know. So it's a stupid things happen. Now I look back and I laugh at it, but at that time it made a big impact in my life, you know, to my self-esteem. Anyway, we left, came to the islands, and I was locked in the house, beaten up, starved, and of course I got pregnant and had a baby. And he want me to leave and leave the baby. I will not leave the baby. So every day, 2 o'clock in the morning, he came, picked me up, throw me on the floor, kicked me, beat me to leave, and finally he gave up. So I managed to get out of there. It's a long story, you know. It is, the detail is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no.
I had a dream, and in the dream I was told to fast, to pray, and read. And I didn't speak English, so I had the Bible, the little Bible, in Arabic, and I just kept reading it and read. This is the only thing I could read, and I'm stuck and locked in a house, you know. So it was I had to do something, you know, but I had the dream that I need to leave and I left. I was able to leave. I fasted for 10 days
Wow.
and prayed and read the Bible maybe a million times by then. And then my ex came home and I said, I want to go. I never did nothing to you. Why don't you just let me go? And the journey started again. He agreed. Very simple, very easy to live with the baby. But he
Wow.
didn't give me money, you know? So anyway, things happen, and I went to Lebanon to get my green card in 1984. I reached there 1 week before they bombed the American embassy,
Wow.
and my parents disappeared. So I was stuck home. And you know, in those days, nobody got divorced. So I was ashamed to the family
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't handle it. I end up with another man putting a gun in my daughter's head. He's gonna blow up her head if I don't stay with him.
Wow.
And I was stayed with him. He was the most narcissist person you can ever find, which is so sad. But I look back and I say, wow, my self-esteem.
You
I
learned
had no,
so much. Yes. Yeah.
no self-esteem. And we managed to come to the United States, and I finally managed to leave him and went back to school, became a dental hygienist.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and I was able to take care of my family, you know,
Oh,
so
goodness.
far.
Yes. Wow, that's so, and it's so funny, and it does come from a lot of what happens when we're younger. I know, like you said, you're able to look back on it and laugh now, or learn from it and do differently. So the pain doesn't hurt as much as when you talk about it anymore. It's the same for me. I
Yeah.
don't think purposely my mom intended to, but a lot of the things she said to me growing up had my self-esteem really, really bad, that I accepted a lot of bullshit when I shouldn't have.
Yes,
Yeah,
I did too. A
yeah,
lot of bullshit.
yes, a lot of it. When you realize that you were worth so much more, it could have been a completely different story. But I'm sure all those experiences now, you have a boundary that's set that no one can tell you different. You know how beautiful not only the flesh is, but your soul is. So no one can treat you that way anymore.
No, no. It took a long time.
Yes.
I end up getting I end up getting married again, but this time I wasn't forced. Chose. And it was the nicest relationship. Everybody envied me for it. But I'm gonna say this out in here. He molested one of my girls.
Wow.
And I had to kick him out, and I lost that daughter last year.
Oh, I'm
Next
so
week,
sorry.
Thursday, a year. So, you know, we go through so much, and we all go through so much. But I feel if we don't heal, if we don't learn to love ourselves more and heal ourselves and learn from our experiences, we can't deal with things as easily. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not saying it's easy, no, but I do deal with it much better than many other women that lost kids, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So I go back to learning to rise up in our energy, you know, healing ourselves and learning why all this happened and stop being a victim. I think the victim is what keep
Oh,
us down.
so very true. Wow, that's so amazing to hear you say that, because those experiences could keep you. You could choose. You have a choice, and you chose not to be looking at yourself as a victim. I'm sure there's moments still where I don't know if you're. I was going to ask you that, to start the healing process from that. How did you start your healing process from that?
I have to tell you, a patient, I was very religious, and thank God I'm not no more, you
Yeah.
know.
That's okay. That's how sometimes it starts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was in the chair. I had a patient in my chair, and she came to me, and I was in a place for 21 years. So the patients, they became like family. They looked
Wow. Yeah.
forward to see me.
Yeah.
And she came and she said, Yola, please, I have something for you. I want you to watch it. It's a movie. Please, will you watch it? I said, yes. But she didn't think I would, you know? And so she gave me the DVD, and I said, I'm gonna watch it. I promise I will. And she made me promise million times, but I came home and I put the movie on. It was the um, Secret. It was this, and
The
it's
Secret
funny,
was a
I'm way
very
beyond.
big catalyst for a lot of people. A lot of people helped open up their eyes.
I know,
Yeah.
and now I'm beyond it. But at that time, I stood right there under this fan.
Yeah.
I stood up after I watched it, and I'm like, uh, what I felt, it was,
Yeah.
um, it's like a light, and it
I was like, I
struck
knew
me.
it. I knew it. I knew it when I heard it.
What is it? What I'm waiting for? I can't wait. Oh, let's pray, and Jesus will take care of it. When Jesus not taking care of nothing, it is me. What is wrong with me? And then, for a minute, I thought, oh my gosh, maybe this is the devil, because you get
Yes.
brainwashed when you go to church. Oh, this is the devil playing in my head. But then I said, how could the devil feel so good? That's not the devil. That feels so good. That
Yes.
must be the real God,
Yes.
you know?
Oh, wow.
So, so it was really interesting. And since then, um, I didn't want to be out with, uh, it's not that I was better or I felt better. I just wanted to learn. I felt like a sponge, a dry sponge,
Yes.
and just feed me,
Yes.
feed me, feed me. And that's all what I did. I listened to spiritual speakers. I was listening right and left and night every night
Yes.
to somebody new. I just was so filled, and the energy, and I start to learn more.
Yes.
But I thought I was doing so good, right?
Yeah.
And this program, my coaching program, it was a 3-year program.
Okay.
I was listening to Dr. What is her name? Oh boy, she's very well known. Anyway, and I signed up to the program after. And I thought, I'm good. I'm really good. I can be a great coach. And I am a great coach, but it didn't happen that easy.
Yeah. Same.
Because
Wow, it's so funny how so many of our stories are so similar. I'm so serious. That's so funny.
I know.
Yeah.
So I was asked a question, do you love yourself? And I said, of course I love myself. Look how strong I am. I have 4 kids. I stayed in the same house. I'm paying my bills. I'm not needy. I make good money. I'm raising my kids and blah, blah, blah. And the woman said, what do you do for yourself? And I stopped. What is it that I do for myself? I didn't do nothing for myself. It was all
Wow.
about my kid and about them having raising them. So
Yeah.
I didn't even have one little minute for me, you
Yeah.
know. I cried. I really cried because at that moment I realized I really don't love myself. I thought I did,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because
Wow.
accomplishing things, but accomplishing things is not loving myself. And the journey started then.
Wow, that's amazing. I know it's a ever unfolding. And I think I always tell people, like, a lot of the times I realize the journey started from the time we were born, but there are different things and experiences that catalyst us into the direction more of where we we're intending on heading, or where Source has us, heading to. So that's amazing. I knew you had an amazing story. And so all of that, you've developed all these different gifts and spiritual gifts. I know you do YouTube and you do readings on there. Can you tell me a little bit about that? How did that come about?
Well, I have to tell you I had the gift when I was little, but of course I didn't know, you know. When I was 10 years, I asked my mother uh, how babies happen, how they come to the belly. I want to know. And
Yes.
she said, if you at a boy and you like him, you'll get pregnant. Well, guess what? At 10 years old, I started to like this boy.
Oh.
I was so scared. I was so scared. So I went to my grandparents for the whole summer. They lived in between vineyards and olive groves.
Yes.
Nobody around them. And I just sat. They were quiet, and I had to sit quiet. I watched the cocoon, the worms come into a cocoon to a butterfly. I
Wow.
watched the bird. I got so connected then,
Yeah.
but I didn't know I was. I didn't know I was. But then when I was in my coaching program, I was studying quantum physics and the connection between science and spirituality.
Love that. Mm-hmm.
So I got deep into quantum physics, and I'm good in math and science. So oh, I
Drawn
was
in.
so excited about that book. I just got right into it, and I spent the whole day reading it. But it was so funny because I got to understand so much, and I think my energy level, because um, I was able to see the energy. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I just, I just know, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was at a high level, vibrating at a high level, very excited, and I asked the question: I'm gonna graduate as a coach. How am I going to attract women to come to me? And the answer came, coffee capriden. And I'm like,
Wow.
coffee capriden? I don't know, how am I gonna do that? Coffee capriden. Then again, coffee capriden. I'm like, coffee capriden? Well, how am I gonna do that? I'm like, and then, I still in the beginning of my journey, so I was ashamed. Here
That's
I
the first
am, a
teaching.
hijabist, and here I am a coach, and I have to do coffee capriden. It's like it wasn't registering in my brain. So I went outside to water my garden before I came to the house. And while I'm turning to come in, I looked in under the fig trees. I have weeds growing on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, I can really pull them out before they really grow on the tree too
Mm-hmm.
much. I, I feel so good today. Tomorrow I'll do them. But right now, I feel so good. The energy was so wonderful. I don't want nothing. I don't want to do nothing to mess it out. So as I turn around and I'm coming inside the pool, I opened the door, and in my head, I didn't intend it though. I just saw the weeds dead.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think, just saw them dry.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't intend for me to think this way. It's so interesting. This is the law of attraction to you,
Yes. Absolutely.
And I went to work the next day. I came back and I went outside to water the plants. Florida is hot. You have to water them every day. And I looked at the tree and the weeds were dead.
Wow.
I thought, oh, maybe my son weed whacked around the tree. He saw them and killed them. Well, I went to touch them. No, they were still intact. So I'm like, oh my gosh, is the universe trying to tell me something?
Wow.
Maybe I do have it in me to do that. So I came on Facebook and I said, the free coffee cup reading.
Wow.
I had 107 women.
Oh my goodness.
And I went up and down and I put my finger on one and she was in Canada. And I was scared because
Yes,
I never done that. Because
yes.
how am I to know? I know what I'm doing. But I said, the universe is showing me ways that I can. And it was funny because I looked at that coffee cup and I start to see the story. I start to see a story.
Oh my goodness.
Usually I look at only coffee,
Yes.
and I start to see the story and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I start to tell her so. And she's like, Yola, you are amazing. This just happened. I haven't even got the chance to tell my sister. How do you know about this? And I'm like, wow, so interesting, but that was in the beginning of my journey. I don't do coffee cup reading to tell people what's gonna happen. Actually, I did one for Vivian long time ago, few years back,
Oh,
and I said to Vivian something. I said, Vivian, something great happening your way. Prepare yourself. You have a great journey. I remember that, I
oh,
remember it.
that's so beautiful.
Isn't it something?
Yes,
So it
yes,
is was wow. But I feel like I use the coffee cup. Like people call me from Australia, from New Zealand, from Europe, from Canada, all over.
yeah,
All what I need, want to see them because they take the physicality take away from you. I just want to connect to spirit, to
yeah,
the soul.
yeah.
And the minute I hear their voice, I just know. The
That's
minute I hear their voice, I just know. And all what I want to do, I want them to see where they're stuck so they can change it, they can play with it, and they can make their life a better life.
yeah.
You know,
Oh
this is
my,
the purpose of job.
that is so beautiful. I love that. I love that. So it sounds so similar to kind of what happened with the cards for me. Not in that way, but like my mom used to read playing cards when we were younger and growing up in the church. I grew up Hindu and Catholic. My mom gave me a choice, gave us all a choice. I chose to go into the church too. So like you, I studied and studied, and I maybe how many times from front to back I read the Bible, and then I would tell her, please stop doing that because that's not good. You're gonna go to hell, and I would beg her to stop reading them. Well, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, more than that, more years ago, a friend of mine's mom started doing readings, and I was so intrigued and pulled to it. And like you said, and throughout the years, I then got my own decks and I started playing with them, and then I would hear the story too, and be all very similar to what you went through. Um, the only thing that's really different that I love about your story is that when you ask Source, how are you going to get these women to come to you? And Source whispered, coffee cup reading.
Like coffee cup reading. I don't know
Yes,
how to do that. But
that's
it is funny. It came to me. It came. It was, and it came the most when I let go of what people are gonna think.
yes,
And I was kind of because I felt belittled because I'm doing that.
yes, yeah,
But then eventually I realized I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm helping.
yeah,
I'm coaching it through the coffee cup. I'm digging deep right into their soul. They don't have to tell me what they're going through. I just know. I just feel it. I
yes,
just see it
yeah,
in the cup. And I know where they stuck. The way I coach is the map of consciousness. So you start from shame, blame, apathy,
yes,
you go little by little to anger, to this, to that. So I know exactly where they are from what I see.
yes,
And I just know. I just jump into it. I learn to trust myself. I think um, there is one thing that I'm strong with is I do believe in myself. I always did.
Yes, I
And
think all those
my
experience. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
yeah, I
interrupt you.
do
I think
believe.
all those experience brought you to that realization, that whole it, and it
Yeah.
hits. For me, we're gonna get ready to wrap up, but I just want to say, for me, when it hit me, what loving yourself was, I used to always think, and I've told this story a few times for those who have tuned in, but my grandma used to say, as soon as you love yourself, you'll find someone. You know, a teenager, boy crazy, and one of the boyfriends, my grandma said, as soon as you love yourself, you'll find someone that loves you. So growing up all my life, I would look and I thought loving my physical self. And so I tried to, I'd work out. And there were times I would tell people, I'd go to the mirror and I'd be like, oh, you're kind of cute. And then another time I go to the bathroom and I'm like, oh my God, who the hell is going to like you? Like, who's going to want to wake up next to you in the morning? And another morning I'm going to be like, oh, your eyebrows are pretty. Next one I'd be like, oh my God, who the hell is going to love all this? And so I would go back and forth, back and forth. And then when all these teachers started coming to me, one of them was Neil Donald Walsh, and then The Secret around that time too. So all of these started, Wayne Dyer, and they were talking about loving yourself, and that also they were explaining how we are God in human form, experiencing, this experience. And I knew one thing for sure growing up. I love whatever the force of God is, whatever that force of creation and love is. I knew I loved that completely, unconditionally. And once I realized that I was extension of God, I was looking, I see you, it's a little frozen. I don't know if you guys see it or not too. But once I was looking in the mirror one day and I was doing this mirror work, oh, loving on yourself, and I was looking into the camera. I know you got frozen there for a little bit, but hopefully you see me. I was looking into the camera and the camera, into the mirror, and I was like, I love you. I love you. And I looked into my eyes, and then all of a sudden I was like, I love God. Like that feeling of love came over me, and I was like, I love what God is. And then I go, oh shit, I'm a part of God too. I know one thing for sure is that I love God. And then I was like, oh, I love myself. I was like, oh shit, I've loved myself this whole time. And then I started thinking what I love about me, and then I was like, that I was easy to love people. Like I gave people chances. I forgive easily. I love genuinely. I don't, and I realized that loving yourself is so much more than just loving the skin and the shell that we're in, but it was loving like who you are, moving from your heart space, from your solar plexus, from your gut, from your mind, and your words all lined up together. That was what love was. And I was like, oh shit, I love myself. And how powerful and how many layers of those we have to go through, because there's lessons, and everything that we learn is some form of realizing that you love yourself, or you're worthy of something, of love. Or so I think that was really powerful, all your experiences, to help you have a really bang understanding of what loving yourself is, and that you're so worthy of being loved.
Oh, yes. I mean, the journey was all about pleasing my mother, who never was pleased with me,
Yes.
And finally, I mean, I was the black sheep. And when I was taken at 14 years old, I was so excited. My mother, well, after I was scared, I got excited that my mother gonna be happy. Somebody want to marry me.
Yes. Wow.
So sad. So you know what, Prudence, I want to tell everybody here and everybody who's gonna come and listen to this.
Yes.
Grief is something we go through throughout our life. The grief of not being loved, the grief of missing on things, the grief of not having what we want, the grief of being cheated on and lied to and used and abused. And
Yes.
finally, he wrote something on Facebook about the black sheep.
Yes.
And you know what I said?
Yeah.
No, is no black sheep. We are so white that we
Yes.
blended them. No, we're not a black sheep at all. So that's it. That's where it took us. And I have the coffee cup here, but I really love to do the coffee cup at another time where we have more people prepared.
Yes.
And I will have their energy in here.
Okay.
Because I channel the energy, and
Yes.
when people are on call, I channel their energy into the cup, and we always get something for somebody in there, anybody in
Oh,
there.
I want to do that. Okay, let's do that soon. I wanted to do that, so I know the time has kind of rolled us, and then with the technology at the beginning and everything. But please, let's plan for that soon. Like I don't know what you have coming up in the next couple of days or weeks. You let me know. We'll talk privately, and we'll set up a time to come back.
Okay.
If you guys would love to hear that, actually, if you leave it in the comments, so we know that we'll have quite a few people, and we'll set a date and a time so that we can come on and do a reading. That would be so
Yes,
nice.
we want fun time, fun
Yes,
time. You
yes.
know?
Oh my goodness. I am totally inspired and touched by your story. I love that we're all connected. Like what I said, sharing each other's story. So you hear your details of how it played out. And then I can tell you some stories that happened to me, but emotionally we connect and realize, wow, like we're learning the same lessons that we all kind of need individually and then collectively. And how
Right.
amazing is the source that created all of this, and that we're all playing a part of this Sims game, I call it lately. That we're all
Right.
a part of this, and that there is a reason for everything that we go through. I think there's lessons, and that for ourselves and for the people around us, and then join together as this force. So thank you so much for sharing, Yola. I really looking forward to you coming back and doing a reading. And like I said, if you guys want to hear more and see Yola do a coffee cup reading, if you ever had one to experience it, let us know in the comments, and we'll set a date up soon so that she can come back on and talk with us again.
We can do that maybe on a weekend,
Saturday. I was thinking, my mind was saying Saturday. That's why I said I'll talk to you privately and we'll see. Yeah, that'll work for me too. So let us know if you guys would like that. Is there anything else that you want to leave, a message or inspiration from your heart that you want to share with everybody before we go?
I just love everyone to really work on themselves. Just work on loving yourself. This is the key. Your intuition open up, and get away from the grief, from anger, because it resides in the heart, and this is why so many women end up with so much
Disease.
breast cancer.
Yes.
Breast
Disease. Yes.
the breast cancer, it is the thyroid because they can't speak up,
Yeah.
so heal yourself, learn to heal yourself by learning to love yourself.
Oh, I
This is
love that.
the greatest thing,
Heal yourself by learning to love yourself. What a beautiful way to end tonight's live. I love you, Yola. We're going to talk soon. Maybe this Saturday, if we're both free, we'll check and see each other's schedule, and we could just jump on and do a live. I really, really enjoyed you coming on tonight. Thank you so much for taking time. I
Thank you,
love you, my friend. We'll talk soon.
for being here. Love
Yes.
you guys. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Wow, that was so amazing. Like I was intrigued and in tuned into everything that she was saying. A lot of times people from other countries and stuff like that too, we hear such different stories than, being brought up here in America. I'm not from America, but I came over here when I was about 12 years old. Really quick before I go, I wanted to touch on something that she said about loving yourself. To heal yourself is loving yourself. Last weekend, I think, or right before the weekend, I had posted out I needed some healing prayers, and I really believe in collectively we can send each other energy. Just think about each other in a positive way. You don't have to sit and go into a corner and pray. You could just say, I send you blessings, and it works. And about 10 minutes after I did that, I started feeling a relief off of my shoulders. My heart was still heavy, but sending energy towards other people does work. And I want to say thank you for you guys who did do that for me. I was in a place where I believe, like we were saying, where there's almost a sense of not worthiness. And there was a whole lot of stuff happening, and it hit so heavy. I cried Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday night, I realized, like, that's enough. I felt like Jesus. I was like, it's time to rise again. I was like, that's enough. That simple. I made a decision. I want to wake up tomorrow. Before I went to sleep, I listened to certain meditation as I sleep to go into sleep. And I said, I want to wake up tomorrow and not feel like this anymore. And I really, the cry out prayer, I call it, I read a book one time from a pastor that it was a short story, and every person, when they did this, like cry from their soul and their heart, their life would change. And so I realized there was something powerful about that. And I did one of those, and I was just like, I don't want to feel like this tomorrow anymore. And I woke up Monday morning feeling so connected to Source, feeling so connected into my power, and realizing, holy shit, girl, you deserve more. You are worthy of more. You give that, so you're going to return and get that. And shifting by making the decision. Sometimes it's not always that easy, and you have work to do. I know that, but I just want to encourage you, and I also want to thank you guys who send me love and prayers. At the moment, it truly did work, and I was able to shift out of it. We're here to hold each other's hands, lift each other up, and remind each other of who we are. We are spiritual superheroes. I love you guys. Join me tomorrow. I have Ella coming on. She's going to talk about marriage, and I'm interested about all these topics. And I would love to learn more about maybe why I'm not freaking married yet. But thank you for joining me, and I hope you join me tomorrow. I love you guys. I appreciate your energy, your love, your support. You have mine.